Titanium ingots, hydrogen fuel rods, sulfuric acid, graphene, and Mark II assemblers are all right around the corner. It is getting complicated in here. Hello, Legion. This is Hadrian. Thank you for being here. Let's play some more Dyson Sphere Program in our Alpha Andromedae series. So, story time. I almost started this episode by saying, oh my god, I forgot something, and turned around and went back to Alpha Andromedae 4. But then when I glanced at my inventory, I realized I hadn't forgotten anything. Why hadn't I forgotten anything? Because the logistics bots brought it for me. Oh my god, I love this game. So remember, I set this up last episode. I was talking to you while they did it. I was pointing out that they did it. But because I'm so accustomed to manually grabbing things, there was still a part of my brain that was like, oh crap, I didn't grab another load of those goods that I'm manufacturing on Alpha Andromedae 4, and that's really going to put a damper on things, so let's go back and get them. Oh wait, I don't need to, because the bots brought them to me. It's great. So we are headed back now to Alpha Andromedae 2. And like I said, we have a lot of things to make. We need to make hydrogen fuel rods. We've got some titanium ingots in our inventory to do that with. We are going to make some sulfuric acid. We're going to make some graphene. And when we make the graphene, using the sulfuric acid, we will be able to make Mark II assemblers for the first time, which is really, really going to help the production speed of just about everything. And we'll put them first on Alpha Andromedae 2, but we can also put them on Alpha Andromedae 4. Meanwhile, we are almost done with planetary logistics, which is a major shift in our ability to move things around on planets. We don't necessarily need to use those stations just yet, but when we get to a point where we're really needing to move resources from one side of the planet to another, they can start to come in very handy. You don't have to use belts. Belts are satisfying in a lot of ways because you get to see them traveling long distances and resources moving across them, especially if the resources have any kind of glow to them, like the resource cubes, or the research cubes rather, or the fire ice. Almost a perfect landing, but not quite. I wonder if they're planning to incorporate weather at all. Oh, look at the bots already coming. Oh my god, they're bringing me more belts immediately. You literally saw them fly out. Now they're dropping them off. Are they going to bring me more? Yes, they are. They're making sure that I have a supply of belts just ready to go. How fantastic is that? All right, and speaking of that, we need to set this up just to collect. So you know what? Let's have it. That's interesting. Why don't we say 1,500? Wait, no. No. Let's say at most 1,000. And at least 1,000. Okay. So we don't have bots here. But now we do. So what they should now do, if I got that set up correctly, is they should... Unless, hang on. This is the amount that I want to carry. Not the amount that I want to... Okay, let's see. Okay, now it changed colors there. Oh, you know what it is? It's because I'm carrying a certain amount here, so I'm actually going to have to offload these manually myself. That's not satisfying at all. I understand why that was happening now. I was paying too much attention to the fact that the offloading was what I was trying to set up, but they are actually set. My inventory is set to pull in a certain amount. So the fact that I already had that certain amount of my inventory, it was trying to keep that for me. So I think... let's say at most 2,000. This is how much I want to carry. So basically all of this, everything above 2,000 will always get offloaded. You know what? Let's go ahead and make it 1,500. There we go. Now that I've got a grasp of that again. I've set this up in a few games myself, but it's been a while since I've played with the sliders. Too much. Okay, that's fantastic. Okay. First things first, we need to make some hydrogen fuel rods because we have titanium ingots, and fuel rods don't require much to create. They just need titanium ingots and hydrogen. So what I really need to do is go ahead and set up a production facility to make these for me automatically. That would be ideal. So we have a hydrogen line coming here. Is that empty? Or is that filling up? No, it's filling up. Slowly but surely. Yeah, so kind of in this general area, probably, where I already have a lot going on. Yeah, this would be perfect, actually. Let's come back here. And it's a little bit removed from where I have everything else, but I would like to go ahead and set up two assembling machines, and they're going to make hydrogen fuel rods. So they will pull from these lines. I'm going to place a Tesla tower there, and while I'm doing all of this, I'm going to build more Tesla towers. Nice. Proliferator Mark 1 research is done. That also means that our interplanetary logistics research is ready to go. That's great news. All right, so we're not going to worry about the spray coat and proliferator stuff right now for reasons that I talked about in the last episode. I've already collected all the hydrogen I need here. So what I need to do at this point is I need to build another splitter. Okay, we need to wait for these to finish first, although we really kind of don't. We can replace those. Yeah, I'll just stick with the 13 I've got right now. All right, now we've got a splitter. Same as we've been doing. I'm going to place a splitter here. And then we'll have a storage sitting on top of the splitter where titanium will be buffered into place. Looks like the bots are bringing me additional lines because I just placed some lines. See how that happened? They just brought them to me automatically from almost all the way across my base. I freaking love this game. It's insane. All right, so now also very importantly, we need an additional storage setup for these to reside. So I think what I'll do in this case, will it let me do this? Oh, that's sexy. All right, cool. Well, can I do this? Yeah, I think... You know what? No. It was a good idea, but it actually wasn't. It seemed cool for a moment. Let's put it that way. What I'd rather do is have... Because I always think of these production lines in terms of the possibility of expanding them. So I never want to put too much of a cap on what I'm building and where. I don't want to like place storage like right at the end of these two so that I can never have more of these built in. Is it likely that I'll ever have more than just these two building hydrogen fuel rods? Probably not. Hydrogen fuel rods have a very specific usage, but still. Okay, so storage, done. All right, so we'll just have the, okay, it looks like they use stacks of 30, but those assemblers are already working quite nicely. So that's that. Now we need to work on a very important compound called sulfuric acid. Sulfuric acid will require us to use stone, it will require refined oil, and it will require water. And we haven't actually done anything with one of the technologies we unlocked ages ago, which is this water pump. So I'm going to go ahead and queue up, let's say 3 to start. And I need to think about where this is going to be built. Because it's, again, we're going to need stone. We're going to need refined oil, which we have over here. So stone's being mined here. So I could, in theory, go ahead and just set up a second mine that fed stone directly to the... Ooh, that's not a bad idea because there's more stone over there. Or I could just use this stone. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. Okay, and we're going to need water, and we've got water right here. So look, that's all the resources we need to get this done. Let's have some... This, by the way, this right here. This is why I have my belts, or my solar panel belt split up the way that I do, so that I can put things between them. So for those of you wondering why those lines are in place the way that they were, that's why. Okay, so yeah, that's one resource we'll put on that line. All right, now the oil's going to start flowing. Let's go ahead and get a mine going here. That's a great start there. Tesla tower down, and I actually think that if I'm careful about how I place the Tesla tower, I might be able to power the other buildings that I need here in just a moment. So hold that thought. And last but not least, very importantly, we need to put the pipes in the water here. But we're going to put 3 water pumps side by side. Going to make sure they're powered. And then what we'll do is set up a splitter. And with that splitter, which is done... There it is. Very good. It's like any day now, splitter. Thank you. All right, we will have all 3 feed in here. Or even... Actually, you know what? Even better than a splitter. Well, don't need a splitter. Do I have a water tank? Nope, but I can make one. Perfect. All right, so we will make the water tank. The water tank will sit right here. It'll build up water from all 3 of those sources as fast as it can kind of take it in. And I could potentially add more in the future, but for now we'll just use the one. And that's that. Now, for whatever reason, this one is going... Oh, there we go. That's the one that emptied out first. That's why it was slow. So yeah, that's why you kind of have 3 feeding into one source, so that it goes a little bit faster, because it does take time. All right, let's go ahead and get the water going here. Perfect. And now, the last thing that we need is chemical plants. And we will need, looks like, steel and glass for this. Let's take a quick look, because we did this last episode, I believe, or maybe even 2 episodes ago. Let's see what our situation is like with our buffers. It looks like the steel buffer is completely full. Ooh, X-ray cracking is done. That's a big deal. So that's the second stage of oil refining that's now available to me. There's our resource bots doing their thing. Love it. Okay, no, it's not completely full. Most of the rest of them are, though. This one is getting there. These 2 are definitely full. Great. And it looks like we are thoroughly set up over here. Loving it. So the current research that we're working on will improve our blueprint limit, the number of facilities that we can have in a single blueprint. You've seen me use blueprints for the belt that you're looking at right now so far, but not much else. So let's see, I needed steel and glass to make these. So thankfully I have both of those in relatively copious amounts. So let's take that, and I'm not gonna go too crazy. Let's go ahead and have just 3 chemical plants working on this right away. Let's check our power too. How we doing? Okay, we're totally fine on power thanks to that solar belt. But with this increase in production, we're probably going to see a slight shift. We'll see how this goes. Okay. So, yep. Here, here, and here. All right, so we got the milestone for the chemical plants. I'm going to place these to make sure they're powered. So that worked perfectly. Notice that we now have power to the stone. And now all we have to do is lengthen this line here, lengthen this line here, and lengthen this line here. And it's just a matter of 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And we will tell these chemical plants to get to work making sulfuric acid. Again, this is a fairly resource-intensive way to make sulfuric acid. It's not necessary to make sulfuric acid this way, but it's what we've got for now, so it's what we'll do, because we need it for a number of other things. But one of the stages you're going to start to see unfold at this point of the game, one of the stages of the gameplay that will become more and more obvious now, is that, oh man, that chemical plant animation looks great. I haven't seen that too much yet. That looks so good. That's new. They've only added that in the last couple of updates. Not the last one, but I think the one before that. I think they had something about chemical plants in both of the last updates prior to this most recent one. But the stage of gameplay that you're going to see is this stage where you have resources that are being produced using 3 or more other resources in order to maintain that production chain. But there are various recipes you can discover that make the production or the harvesting of resources, like, for example, sulfuric acid oceans on other planets, spoiler, much more straightforward. So I mentioned the fire ice in a previous episode. Fire ice is what's going to give us graphene much more easily at some point. That'll also help us produce additional hydrogen, which is lovely, because hydrogen is certainly something that can bottleneck in Dyson Sphere Program. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and put the sulfuric acid out on this line, and we will, of course, build an additional tank in order to get this liquid stored. There we go. Okay, so now that we have that, very important step has been reached, because we can make graphene. We also make graphene in chemical facilities. So, actually, you know what? Let's delete that for a moment. I've had a better idea about how I want this to work. I've never done it this way, but this just occurred to me on the fly, and it might work pretty well. Let's have a storage tank positioned like so. Perfect. So that's now a buffer in the line for all of my sulfuric acid. I'll go ahead and pour this back in myself. There we go. That's just the acid that was in the tank that I deleted. So now what we'll do is we can do this a couple of different ways. So we have sulfuric acid now being produced, and we need to combine it with our, let's see, we need to combine it with energetic graphite. Energetic graphite is being produced, but all way over there. So it's like, I either need to run some energetic graphite all the way over here, which might be a good idea, because this is almost like a different area of the base in some ways. So that might make a lot of sense to do it that way. Or I need to run sulfuric acid all the way over there. I think I like the first idea a little bit better. So let's do that. Also, notice that I now have the ability to build level 3 conveyor belts, which require, among other things, graphene. So we're working towards multiple stages right now, also moving towards the ability to build higher vertically, which will improve our research speed, thankfully. Just using up yellow or red cubes at the moment, though, thankfully. So let's see what else we can do here. It seems like I have a pretty good stash of electromagnetic turbines here. They're being slowly chewed up, but I've got a pretty good stash of them at the moment. That's good. We can now make Mark II assembling machines. We've been able to make them for a while, but we haven't had the graphene. Now we do. We also have the processors, which we finished a few episodes back. They're being mainly produced on Alpha Andromedae 4, but we have them. Yeah, this is going well. So let me go ahead and look at what I need to get 3 additional chemical plants built. Oh, perfect. I have what I need. It's already in my inventory. So let's now look at what would be required in order to get these over here. Again, all we have to do, we don't have to build an additional splitter. We already have a splitter in place at the bottom of our storage. I freaking love this. Oh my god. Okay. So because that's in place, all I have to do here, I'll be a little bit creative, but I can make it work. Let's delete that. Now let's delete this. Yeah, I want to have it come all the way over here. Oh, can't quite go that way unless I replace that, which I think I will. So we're going to move that just a little. Put it there instead. And now this energetic graphite, I'm just going to keep it elevated so it can move easily across the base. It's going to come all the way back here. Now, this is one thing that you could technically use planetary logistics for. We have unlocked planetary logistics, and they have the ability to fly resources around. It's not quite enough of a distance to be worth doing that for me just yet, especially because of the power draw that the planetary logistics will require. But I wanted to mention this as certainly something that's an example of what you could use that for. And I will be doing it for other resources soon. Okay, so it looks like the best spot to bring this into place. It might actually be good to bring it around this way. I don't love that, though. Hang on. Yeah, let's do it here, and I'm going to move... I'm moving a bunch of Tesla towers around, aren't I? Little tiny adjustments to make everything work. Okay, there's that. Perfect. Look at this. Look at this. So now this is going to come right here, and now we're going to tell it to go down to the ground. And we'll have it extend about yay far, roughly. And then build 3 more chemical plants, like so. And then we will build what we need to make sure that they are connected to the power grid. And we will tell them that we want them to make graphene. Very important step here. Just in the process of getting graphene made. Okay, so we're still producing a few of those, and it looks like everything else is done. Yep. All right, so here comes the energetic graphite. Let's go ahead and have these sorters hooked up on time. And then these will just come out this way. So satisfying to see it come together. And this is what's satisfying about Dyson Sphere in general, because note that every resource that I'm now working with has taken multiple stages to produce. And we've gotten to this point where all of it is kind of coming together now, and we're producing this valuable new good. You know, I'm realizing something about graphene that I don't think I've ever realized before until this exact moment. And if I'm right in what I'm thinking right now, I'm gonna be a little bit annoyed at myself. It's never happened on a series before. This is my first Dyson Sphere series. So if anything, I'm happy I'm realizing it now and not later. But hang on. Let me go get some stone brick, because I have a hunch, based on what this game is telling me, and just based on the fact that I can see that graphene swirling the way that it's swirling. Are you figuring out what my hunch is? Yeah, you probably are. I've got a hunch. If this is true, tell you what, let me place it a little bit farther down so that I can expand this a little bit, just like I was talking about not too long ago. I do like to give myself the ability to expand. Okay, so output. No, no, no. I want uniformity, please. Okay, 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 thank God. I thought it was a solid, but, like, I was looking at it thinking, is this a liquid? Can it be stored in a tank? But it can't be. That's fine. That is totally fine. So we're going to instead place a sorter right here. Looks like some of our bots just brought us stuff. They might be drained of their battery, though, because of how hard they had to how far they had to fly to get it here. And now we are producing graphene. That's a big frickin' deal. So I'm going to go ahead and grab that graphene, and let's see what we can do in terms of upgrading to these assemblers. Yep, we can already build 4. And momentarily, we will be able to build many, many more. All right, so now the only resource that I don't have in large quantities, let's go ahead and get this done before I end the episode, because this is going to be fun to watch. Now the only resource that I don't have in large quantities is the assembler Mark 1. And the thing is, as I upgrade these assembler Mark 1s to assembler Mark 2s, I will get the assembler Mark 1s back. So let's just fly over here. Oh, also, hang on. This is important, because we're out of fuel. So a couple of big firsts for the end of this episode. Let's go ahead and grab 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like they're bringing me more stuff, which I don't mind. And watch this. Boom. So now we officially have hydrogen fuel cells powering us instead of energized graphite, which will make it much easier to recharge. As a fuel source, this is how they compare. 6.75 megajoules, 50% fuel chamber generation, 200% fuel chamber generation, 54 megajoules. So it's actually, oh yes, significantly more, sorry, in a single hydrogen fuel rod. They don't stack as high, so you have to keep an eye on them, but notice that they also burn plenty slow, which is nice. Now, where were we? Graphene, yes, we have upgrades to do here. Let's go ahead and start here. Just going to use the upgrade tool. Oh wait, do I have it set up to only... Yep. I want to upgrade facilities. There's one. There's another. There's another. There's another. So, importantly, see, I can now build 4 more because I just upgraded 4. So it's giving me these back as I do it. How many do I have? I've got 4 right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 more. And happily, they build quite quickly. So we can keep doing this. We have plenty of the resources that we need. I can come over here and do the same. I can build 3 here. And in the next episode, I will be able to fly to Alpha Andromedae 4 and visit where we are producing some of these key resources and also upgrade those assemblers. So now we are upgrading at a significantly, or rather we are producing everything at a much faster rate. It's a 33% increase over what we were doing for every single one of our assemblers. There's even a noticeable change in how quickly they're going up and down, which of course also happens when you upgrade them to level 3. Not going to be able to do that for a while. That's a big deal when you get to that upgrade, and it's a ways away. But let me also visit over here and make sure I haven't forgotten anything. I think we're pretty good. I'll have to keep an eye on the crude oil situation. Does seem like we're building up hydrogen. We might be consuming more than we're taking in, so I'll have to keep an eye on that. One thing I will be able to do very soon, I might even do this in the next episode, I will be able to build X-ray crackers. Unfortunately, I'm realizing right now, the way that I've got my oil refinery set up, I might end up moving them. I might move it entirely to be up here, because X-ray cracking, when done efficiently, you kind of have 2 rows of oil refineries working side by side, and you'll see what I mean when I get there. But for now, we will stop this episode here. In the next one, we will work on that. We will work on upgrading the assemblers on Alpha Andromedae 4, and also looking at what additional technologies we have unlocked and can unlock now that we've gotten this far, I would imagine that one of the things we're going to want to look into real soon are what are called structure matrices. Those are the yellow cubes, and it turns out that we're right around the corner from them. So we have a couple of technologies to queue up once this upgrade to the distribution range of our bots is done. And speaking of that, we can also go ahead and do a supply run during the next episode as well to make sure that we have the electromagnetic turbines and to make sure that we have the computer chips, the processors, the actual chips, not the things that I kept calling chips, which were in fact circuit boards earlier in the series. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this one, don't forget to like the video and subscribe to follow along. New episodes are coming out every day at noon U.S. Eastern Time. Comments are always welcome. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you next time.